Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. This is DJD Reviews here, back for another review, and this time we're going to be taking a look at Ocular Max PS03 Backdraft, their interpretation of a G1 Inferno. Before we get started, just a couple of shout outs. I'd like to thank Six Shot Perry for the shout out on his YouTube channel. Really appreciate it, and really looking forward to doing more reviews and to chatting to him and all in a blur in the future and getting together and everything. Also a big shout out to Max and Me Love Toys. Went down and saw him last weekend for like a Transformers get together. Had a really good time. So if anyone hasn't checked out either of those guys' reviews and Facebook pages and so forth, I'm going to drop a link down in the page below. So please go and check them out. But again, a big thank you to those guys, and also to Six Shot Perry with regards to the Transformers and such Facebook page. Although I've been collecting third-party Transformers figures and a few Masterpiece figures for the past 2.5-3 years now, it's only until recently that I started to kind of dabble in reviews and going on to social media and using Facebook and so forth to kind of get my views of figures across and join Transformers Facebook pages. So thanks very much to Six Shot Perry and for All in a Blur for allowing me to join the community. So really do appreciate that. Anyway, so back to the figure. Now, as I said, this is Ocular Max's PS03. With the exception of the repaint for Sphinx, this was their second release, and again very similar to the first release of Sphinx. Really nice artwork and box design here. Obviously you got Inferno or Backdraft on the front there, with a really nice window box for you to have a look at the figure, which comes in vehicle mode. Again, you have the Perfection series across the top, and then PS03 Backdraft, Search and Rescue, and then Ocular Max logo there. Again, if we just get a little bit of a close-up, apologies for the glare. Some really nice artwork. I really like the way that the box and packaging has been designed here. If we just turn it to the top, we just get a product shot of Backdraft in vehicle mode and in robot mode, showing off his weaponry. And again, PS03 Backdraft, Search and Rescue, and got the Perfection series down there, and die cast. So this figure does have a little bit of heft to him, as he's got some die cast in him. On the side, we've just got a image of Backdraft. Just a nice close-up shot there. On the back, we have some really nice face shots of the two head sculpts that are included, and then an image of Backdraft going from vehicle to robot mode. And at the very bottom, just reminiscent of the G1 boxes really, you've got an image of Backdraft, a little bit of information on his bio, and then you've got the bio reader here as well to check out his stats. In a sec I'll go through what comes in the box, because you do get the bio reader card to have a look at his stats on here. If we turn it onto the other side, we get a nice product shot or image there of Backdraft as well, and then on the bottom just some warnings and so forth and so on. So that's pretty much the box covered. Again, the one thing that I really do like about Ocular Max Mastermind Creations is the fact that on the inside of the box, if we open it up, it credits all of those that were involved in bringing this figure to us, the Transformers fans. So a really big shout out to Mastermind Creations and Ocular Max for this. I think it's a really nice touch and gives something back to those that were involved in the process of making this figure and putting it together. So big props to them for that. Okay. So moving on, you get a few accessories with the figure. So you get a little baggie, and on the front of the bag it's just got some warnings about a particular element of the transformation. So when you're bringing the arms out, you have to bring them out in a specific way, and then at the top you have these kind of pauldrons, and they're just a little bit of a warning about how to transform them correctly, because they only go so far. So it's just a warning about not doing it to the extreme and potentially breaking your figure. So again, I think that's a really nice touch on their part. You get a sticker sheet. Now I know a couple of third-party companies are now getting into putting stickers in their packaging as well, which is a really nice touch, reminiscent of G1. And you get two different styles that you can do. I believe one's kind of sort of like a Portland fire engine type, and the other is sort of like a Chinese or Japanese style as well. But really nice touch, and just gives you an indication of where to put them and how to apply them. So again, that's really nice. And these are the actual sticker sheets as well. So that one is more American, and the other, oh, turn that up the other way, and the other is more for sort of like the Japanese market as well. So really nice touch there. We get the card reader to have a look at the stats on the back and everything. So if I just bring the box back in, you can place it on here and you get an idea of his stats. So again, that's a really nice touch, very reminiscent of G1. So okay, so the next thing, you get your instruction manual. Again, some really nice artwork there on the front, and again on the back you've got some credits to all the designers who were involved in the figure. So again, really nice touch there. Just fan it out. Kind of reminiscent from old G1, depending on the type of figure. I find these instructions really clear. They're really easy to work forward and back from vehicle to robot mode and back. So really nice. They're really clear and concise instructions. You get the obligatory third-party collector's card. A little bit flimsy, a little bit of, I'm not sure if this is plastic or just a little bit of flimsy card. On the back you've got his bio and some stats as well, and again some product images there, and then on the front, again like I said, just a nice image of an artist's interpretation of Backdraft and the Perfection Series logo, so really nice. Okay, so one of the first main accessories you get is his gun. So it's just sculpted in black plastic, some really nice details. It's got the typical masterpiece clip for the hands as well. What's nice about this is it does extend as well. Got a little bit of paint detail. I'm not sure if that's coming up very clearly on, there we go, sort of like some red detail on both sides. Really nice gun, fits in his hand very well. A bit disappointed that there is only a small amount of paintwork on here, but the paintwork that is on here, for my copy at least, has been applied well. But I would have liked some more paint on here, maybe some weathering around the tip of the gun, but all in all, not a bad gun. And then you get two head sculpts, one that's already pre-installed, and we have this one as well. Really nice paintwork. I've not had any problems with this paint. The eyes really do pop. Nice little smile there. Quite easy to install the head. So you've got a screw there, just undo the screw, and the head just pulls apart a little bit, and then you've got a ball joint, you just put it on the ball joint. I'm not a massive fan of this particular style of head, so I've got the other one pre-installed, but in terms of the paintwork and everything, I don't have any blemishes or anything, but so the paintwork's done really well. But this isn't the head sculpt that really reminds me of Inferno, but at least you have an option for a different head sculpt. And then finally we have Inferno himself, and what can you say, he's a red fire truck. Plastic quality is really good. Can't fault Ocular Max Mastermind Creations on their plastic quality. In terms of the design aesthetics, a nice design. The one thing that I do find a little strange about the figure is that although you can extend the ladder quite a way, it's a little bit short and stumpy in the box. It just doesn't look right to me. If they had maybe kind of like brought it out so that the ladder kind of was here, that kind of would make a little bit more sense to me in terms of length. But I can understand why they've done it. But again, you've got some nice articulation on the ladder, and you've got a piston here, so you can have it pointing in a particular direction. And like I said, you've got this nice long ladder to pose him in and everything. So yeah, so it's a nice ladder. Just a little bit of a shame that it's a little bit too short on the figure. Nice details with the horns and everything. Another slight complaint I have about this figure is that it's got black emergency lights. I'm not sure about in Asia if emergency vehicles have black lights on them, but in the UK and the US, it's not something that we're really accustomed to. We're accustomed to red and blue, so it would have been nice if that had been painted, or it had some nice transparent blue or red lights. I think it's a little bit of an oversight. Other than that, we've got some really nice sculpted detail and some chrome on the figure. Again, some nice kind of like chrome all the way down to the back of the figure. This particular hose here is also chromed out as well, which you can pose as well. Some really nice details here. This is molded plastic, but is painted, so it looks like a fire truck. And then also what you can do, they're a little stiff, but you can pull down these and pose them so as if he was at a fire. So you can pull these down, make sure he's nice and stable, and then you can pose him however you want. But I think kind of like just having that little bit extra there just for poses in his alt mode is a really nice touch. They are a little bit stiff, but just weight wise, he's got some die cast in him, so he's quite heavy, but nice heft to him. Does roll absolutely fine, so I've got no problems with that. He has also got a cab, and if I can get into it, so you've got the two doors of the cab which do open, and very much like it should be, the steering wheel is on the right hand side of the cab. Yes, here in England and over in Japan we drive on the correct side of the road, so for you Americans who watch this, steering wheel's on the right hand side, that's the correct side. Okay, but you can fit in a masterpiece figures that come with, say for example, MP10, Optimus Prime, and Ultra Magnus as well. So again, just a little bit of playability there. But all in all, I'm really happy with the way this figure has been designed and has come out. It is a very tabby figure. There are a lot of tabs and so forth, so you really have to get him in the right position for really finishing him off in alt mode, which can be a bit of a pain, but he's very solid in general. They have done, or they are in the process of doing a remold for this figure. Girder, which is going to be their interpretation of grapple, and I also believe they have another mold as a target master as well. I think Girder should be coming out anytime soon, but there's been nothing thus far with regards to the target master. Right, I'm just going to stop the figure here, the feature here, and transform it, and I'll be right back. Hi guys, and we're back, and here we have Ocular Max PS03 Backdraft in robot mode. As you can see there, he holds his gun absolutely fine, no issues. So just going to go through the actual figure now. Let me just get his gun out of the way. So in terms of the head articulation, he can look left, he can look right, he can look up, and he can look down. Not too much down or up, but obviously you are hindered a little bit by the back piece, but that's kind of typical for Backdraft, although this is quite a large back piece over his head. Again, you've got the horns on the side, which is really nice. Again, just going back to what I reiterated in vehicle mode, it does look a little bit off or weird having the black lights. If we go in on the head sculpt there, okay, some really nice paintwork, and I really love the eyes. I would have liked a little bit more paint on the actual overall face sculpt. Looking in the head crest, but otherwise not so bad. Really like the detail of the chrome shoulder pieces here, and again some black plastic detail, white plastic detail here on the inner arm, and a little bit of a homage again to the G1 figure where you used a little button to slide out the arm, so that's some really nice detail there. Not really essential to have actually done that, although it is used in part of the transformation, tabbing the arms into the back of the vehicle mode so they're nice and secure. You get a full rotation of the arm, goes up to there, so not bad there. You've got a bicep, upper bicep rotation, and you have more than enough in the elbow past 90 degrees, so that's really good. You also have wrist articulation as well. The thumb is on a ball joint, and then you have these single pinned but individually articulated fingers. The first finger is on two separate pins, but the remaining fingers are just on the one pin at the knuckle. Like I said, he holds his gun absolutely fine. Again, really liking the detail of the chrome work on the front bumper and the headlight area. I do have a little bit of a scuff issue or paint issue on one of the headlights, but overall I'm really happy with that. Nice detail with the windscreen wipers, and it's a kind of like it is a see-through plastic windshield, but slightly darker tint. Same on the other arm with regards to articulation, and you do have the option of undoing this, rotating this round, and then you can put the hand in and you have access to his hose, and you can extend that, and you can have one hand and one hose out. He does have another hose in here if you so wish to have him out with two hoses. It's entirely up to you how you wish to pose him. You do have the ability to pose these fins at the top as well, which is quite nice. We have a full rotation of the waist and hips. That's really, really nice. I do have an issue with the hip skirt. Now I do understand that this is typical of the entire mold for this figure, and from what I understand, the designer was and is aware of this, and there has been a fix done, and that it's being shipped with the release of PS05 girder, their homage to Grapple, and that will include a full new hip replacement, both front and back pieces, and also a shoulder piece as well. Some people are having issues with a little bit of gapping between the two shoulder panels as well, and they've re-engineered this. I'm not really fussed with the shoulders, but it's really nice for them to include that. But when I do get the replacement part, I will be installing this replacement piece. You do get flaps that move out of the way so that we can go through the articulation of the legs. So, before I forget, actually, before we do that, just to let you know, he does have a really nice ab crunch, and he does lean back as well in that ab crunch, but that's primarily due to transformation. You do get a really nice forward motion on the leg. Really nice backward motion, and out to the side as well. You get a nice hip rotation there, so that's really nice. And then this is as far back as the single knee will go. There's no kibble on the back of the leg, but you are hindered a little bit from the way this actually transforms. But you can use this hinge joint here if you want a little bit more articulation. It's not going to get you a great deal, but it does give you that little extra if you so need or choose to use it. You then have a really nice stable foot or heel to use, and you've got some downward movement. You have upward movement, but you also do get this really nice big toe as well that goes all the way up. Doesn't go far down because it's part of the back of the vehicle, and then you do get this really nice extreme rocker, which is really good as well. So all in all, for articulation, it's a really nice articulated figure. Like I said, the only issue really with the sculpt is the hip skirt from my point of view. Paint wise, you know, kind of like going down the figure, like I said, we've had a little bit of an issue here. Some of the red paint underneath or plastic is showing through a little bit. Going down to the hip skirt, painting yellow and indeed orange onto black is a little bit troublesome. There is a little bit of bleed through of the black with the yellow paint, so maybe they could have gone over that again, so maybe a second or third coating. Some really nice silver detail here as well, and overall I just really like, although it's a predominantly red, I do like the actual sculpting of the figure from head to toe and the different uses of different colours of plastic. I mean, going down to the base of the figure, yes, there is, again, it is plastic and maybe some red paint, but there is no other kind of paint detailing apart from the hose here and the chrome supports. But you do have the actual plastic detailing, which I really like. I know some people are not fond of all plastic figures with minimal paint. I don't mind, as long as there's some detail in the structure of the plastic. So for example, I know with the Takara, they've done a very cartoon accurate interpretation of Inferno, and that means his legs are pretty much red and they're very plain, which again, if you like that G1 aesthetic, that's absolutely fine. But I really like the fact that they've got some detail here to actually cover the fact that there's not been any real paint application on the lower body. And then finally, if we go all the way down to the feet. You've got some nice chrome work which finishes off the back of the vehicle, and then you've got some nice paint work for lights and indicators as well. So overall, I'm really happy with this figure. Like I said, it's not without its faults, and thankfully Ocular Max recognised the issue with the hip skirt. It shouldn't have been an issue from the outset, but at the very least they have recognised it, and they have apologised, and they are going to be sending out replacements. I purchased this figure backdraft from Kapow Toys at TF Nation for a really good price. So really happy with that. But I have recently contacted them regarding the hip skirt because of the issue I have with it, but I only did so after Ocular Max actually made it public that they were going to be releasing a new skirt piece or hip skirt piece for Backdraft with their next release. So again, kudos on Ocular Max for doing that, and again, really big shout out to Six Shot Perry, to All in a Blur, Max and Me Love Toys, and again to Kapow for giving me the opportunity to have this figure, and also Ocular Max. Really happy with it, and I'm really looking forward to collecting the rest of the line. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, or you just want to ask me any questions, please comment in the section below. I'm going to leave a link to the photos that I've taken of the figure, and also a link to where you can purchase him, and to also a few other things, Chris Six Shot Perry and All in a Blur's page. So really good stuff. Thanks guys for acknowledging me on the Facebook page, and again, yeah, thanks very much. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.